Tranisha Cottrell, and welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I'm so grateful to have you here on this journey of self discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we are going to talk about my testimony. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content like this. So get comfortable, go grab a notebook, get a tissue, whatever you got to do, and let's get into it. Let's go. Okay, so I was spending some time with God this morning, and I did something in disobedience, and I feel like it's okay to say that because the best way to help other people, the best way to, like my pastor says, strengthen the saved and reach those that are unsaved is to be transparent. I think that sometimes we get this misconception of what religion or a relationship with God looks like because we see it as perfectionism. We see it as you can't make no mistakes, and that's the only way you can really have a true faith in God is if you just are picture perfect and you're not a person that stumbles or falls or who has been in the streets or who has lived a bad type of life. But a relationship with God is for everybody. It doesn't matter what your yesterday looks like. It matters that you're trying to build a relationship with God. It matters that you want to be a better person. It matters that everything that's important to God becomes important to you. That is what true relationship with God looks like. It looks like you constantly trying and not guilting yourself, not remembering to give yourself grace. It is important to always remember to give yourself grace. When you are going through something, when you make a mistake like I did this morning, it's important for you to say, okay, you made a mistake. How are you going to do better in the future? Don't harp on the mistakes because that's how you give a foothold to the enemy. That's how you allow him to penetrate your mind and to make you believe all the things that are not true about you. I was listening to a podcast this morning after reading the Bible, and the young lady said something like, anything that's negative obviously doesn't come from God because God only speaks positivity over our lives. He talks about prosperity. He only wants us to do better. He only wants what's best for us. So if something is not adding or bearing fruits of the Spirit, then it's obviously the adversary. So every time you have a negative thought, know that that's not God. Every time something in your mind is telling you that you can't do something, that you're not this, that you're not that, you have to remember what God said about you. That's why in a lot of these videos, I constantly keep saying, you are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are blessed coming and you are blessed going. You are a royal priesthood, a holy nation. I think it's so important for us to embed that in our mind, to put it at the forefront of our minds. So when the adversary starts to come and tries to tell us how all the things that he thinks that we're not, or send somebody to play on an insecurity that we have or make us doubtful of the plans that God has for you, I think it's important for you to always remember in the forefront of your mind that God's plans are to prosper us and not to harm us. He knows his plans. We might not know it, and sometimes not knowing is the thing that makes me hesitant. And I know people don't want to say that, but that's the thing that holds me up. That's the thing that makes me afraid. That's the thing that makes me feel like, okay, well, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month, but knowing that God got my back, knowing that no matter what comes my way, no matter what it looks like to the world or what I think it looks like, God is always going to work it out. He is always doing things in my favor. And that's the thing that we forget a lot of the times. We forget that everything is working together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. You have to always remember that. And I'm sorry I'm talking a little low. You might have to turn me up in the volume because I'm a real soft spoken person and I don't like to scream or yell or any of those things. So if I did that, that wouldn't be my personality. That wouldn't be me. That would be me pretending to be another YouTuber or someone else. So this is my authentic self. And hopefully I reach the people who God intends for me to reach. So let me tell you something about my testimony. It was probably 3, 4 years ago now, but I have been before that, prior to that, living in the world. I was out here, going to different parties or whatever you want to call it, like different events at different places. I was celebrating all the pagan holidays. I was really, really feeling like, oh yeah, I love the holidays. I mean, because holidays were so important to me. But it's more important for me to be alive. It's more important for me to spread the gospel than it is for me to wear some sort of outfit that's related to a holiday. And I know you're probably saying, okay, if you're saying that, what about when Valentine's Day comes around? Listen, don't talk about Valentine's Day. Just kidding. No, but I celebrate love, and God is love. So, of course, I love love, but that doesn't mean that I'm worshiping Valentine's Day. That means that I appreciate giving love to other people and being loved by other people. That does not mean that, my heart's in the wrong place and I'm just trying to worship Cupid or whatever, Saint Valentine or whatever else. That just means that I know that God is love. I know that there's agape love. I know that I love love. I love the feeling of being able to love my family members and my friends and people that come into my life. I love being able to help other people. I love all of those things. I love God. I was about to say the Erica Campbell thing, but I'm not gonna do that to y'all. But I was really out here just trying to find fulfillment in anything. Like everywhere I turned, I thought that a substance was going to help. I thought that people were going to help. I thought I could be friends with this person and that would fill me up. I thought that I could be in a relationship with this person and that would give me joy or happiness or that would build me in the way that I thought that I needed to be built. I thought that any car, any house, anything that I could put my hands on, I thought money could be something that would bring happiness to me. I kept trying to look for fulfillment in everything but God. And I'm sorry I'm getting emotional. I'm telling you, like ahead of time, I'm preparing y'all for this message because I'm probably gonna cry. Because every time I think about my testimony, it makes me cry because there's no way I should have been able to make it through any of those things but God. God is the only reason that I'm standing here in front of you. He is the only reason, and I should have got my Q-tip because I knew this was gonna happen, but I did not. But if it had not been for God, I probably wouldn't be here at all. Like, obviously, He saved me for a reason. He has me standing here for a reason. He gave me breath and another opportunity to do better today for a reason, not just because I want to be here or because I want to see people another day. Obviously, anytime you have breath in your body, anytime that God is giving you another opportunity to do better than yesterday, it's because there's purpose on your life. It's because there's something that you're supposed to be doing that you can only do through Christ. You have to know that you are here for a reason. There is a mission put on your life when you are born. You are supposed to do something that helps and adds to someone's life. And I'm praying and hoping that you will use your life to the fullest. Live your life to the fullest. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying about somebody else in their relationship, thinking that you're single, so you're not blessed. You are blessed. There's so many things that you can do in the single season that you can't do in a relationship. And it's blessed being in a relationship and it's blessed not being in a relationship. But you have to know that your fulfillment comes from God. It does not come from that man. It does not come from that woman these women that you keep seeking. It comes from God. God is the only thing that will ever be able to fill you to the fullest. You might get temporary satisfaction from things in this world. Money might buy you happiness for 48 hours. That guy might make you happy for a moment. But with God, you have complete joy. I'm telling you because if you were like me, you were thinking that everything else was going to fill you up. You thought that substance, you thought that guy, you thought that job, you thought that opportunity, you thought that money, you thought all these objects, the things that were created were going to fulfill you more than a creator. And they will not. So let me get on with the story. I'm letting the Holy Spirit lead me because I want this video to be completely in complete obedience to Him. I don't want it to be about me. I want God to use my story to help you. I want you to be fulfilled in your life. I I got so tired of looking around, seeing the way that people are talking to themselves. And some people might say they're joking, but sometimes I really think that's how people feel when people are like, oh, I'm so fat, I could never wear that. Like, why would you even say that? If you don't like your body, it's making other people uncomfortable when you say stuff like that. Go work out. Love the body that you're in right now. Work out. Consult with a healthcare professional. Start eating healthier. Walk every day. It might not be you lifting 300 pounds right away. It might be you lifting 5 pound weights while you're walking. It might be instead of you walking 3 miles, maybe you walk half a mile in the beginning. Then you walk a mile. Then you just keep on adding on and on and on until you get where you're trying to go. You don't just snap your fingers and all of a sudden your whole life has changed. God can change you in a moment, but you have to be willing to put in the work. You can't just get there just by blinking your eyes or holding your hand out because you said, God save me. No, you get there by putting in work. You get there in obedience. You get there in consistency. You get there in intentionality. And people don't want to hear that because you want it to be easy, because the things of the world seem easy. But God says in the Bible, and I might butcher this, but I'm going to try the best that I can. He says to take my yoke upon you. My yoke is easy and the burden is light, and my yoke is easy, which means that we can be like God. It means that He and I are easily meshed together because He saved us, because He died for us, because He took on the burden for us. Whenever we have trouble in our lives, whenever we're struggling in any area, He can take that off your shoulders so that you don't have to feel like the burden is all on you. Oof, oh my gosh. I was about 2, 3 years ago in a position in my life where I got tired of doing everything the way that I wanted to do it. I got tired of seeking all of these people, places, or things to fill me up. I was in a marriage and I wanted my marriage to fill me. I wanted this guy to be God to me. I wanted him to be able to do everything that I needed in my life. When only God can fill that burden, that's a lot of pressure to put on a person. And I know people probably don't understand what I'm saying when I say that, but I promise you, if you are expecting the guy to be God in your life, then you are idolizing him, you're idolizing the relationship, and you're putting too much on that person, a burden that they can't carry. That's not something that's for them, that's something that's for God. God is the only one that can handle everything for you in your life. The only one. I have to say it with emphasis because I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I don't think you hear what I'm saying when I'm saying it. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get the clapping, but I'm just saying that sometimes we put so much on other people, forgetting that they are human just like we are. Imagine if you in a relationship and the guy wanted you to be everything. He wanted you to be his mom. He wanted you to be his friend. He wanted you to be his therapist. He wanted you to be his, I guess, like TG says, his teddy bear. He wanted you to be a punching bag. He wanted, and I don't mean that in the kind of way. I mean that in like every time he's angry, when there's emotional stuff going on, when he's going through something, he wanted you to be this way and that way. He wanted you to be like everything. He wants you to be 20 girls in one, and you can only be yourself. Like, imagine all the pressure that somebody can put on a human being trying to be God in their life. That's what I was doing in my past relationship. I literally was trying to seek happiness from a person that could never make me feel the joy that God gives me. And it's not about villainizing a person. It's not about saying that I'm the problem or they're the problem. Like people like to say, oh, maybe you're the problem. But listen, maybe the problem is you're not taking your problems to God. Because there's no problem that's too big for God. I promise you, whatever health condition, whatever thing that you're going through in your life, God will always be able to see you through everything. There's nothing that God can't do for you in your life. There's some stuff that I'm not going to share on this video. Maybe eventually I will be able to share it. But there's some things that happened in my past and it kind of took my voice away and kind of made me feel like I couldn't speak up. And it's so funny because Sarah Jakes Roberts in her past videos would say something like, Yeah, the enemy's been trying to silence you since you were a kid, since you were small, since you were little. He's been trying to stop you from the purpose that's on your life. Now I want you to think back. Take a moment and think about the type of life that you had as a kid. Think about that thing that you always dreamed of doing. You had the innocence of a child. You really wanted to do this thing, and people made fun of your gift. People made you feel badly for being the jokester. They made you feel badly for wanting to speak up. They made you feel badly for whatever that it is, that the gift that God gave you on the inside of you. So you started to get insecure about your gift and started to pull away from the purpose that God put on your life. I want you to know that Pastor Todd and Mike Todd said this too. He said the best way to kill a seed is in something that's forming is in seed form. So before it develops, before it becomes nourished, before it becomes what it is that God intended for it to be, the adversary will come in and try to make you feel insecure about that thing that's really your gift the whole time. It's important for us to remember that God gave you that gift for a reason. Whatever the thing is that you thought about, that you were like, oh, I really did love writing, but people said I could never build a career in writing. Listen, my daughter will say that she wants to do something in life, and I'll just be like, okay. I don't even say, well, what about this? You have to think about that. Well, nobody can make a career out of that, because we all know, standing here in this day and age, that you can make a career out of pretty much anything. If she wanted to go make, I don't know, make cartoons for a living, or I mean, draw a picture for a living, she could be an artist. If she wanted to, I don't know, roll in the mud, there might be a roll in the mud sport. I don't know. They make so many things up, and your gift could be anything. It could be you being a hugger. Maybe you're like one of the best huggers in the world, and you get paid professionally to go hug people, and you're like, that's not a career, but yet they making 6.4 million being a hugger in the world, and they love to give hugs because they're the best hugger. Like, you just really don't know what your gift is that God gave you, and you have to utilize it. You have to think back to the thing that you're good at, that people say that you're good at all the time, and you just keep doubting yourself because somewhere in this timeline from the birth until now, you've been told that you can't do that, or you've been told that you're not good enough, or you've been told that, no, that's not really for you. I don't know if you should do that. Oh, really? That's what you want to do? And that's where you let them people go out of your life. You create distance. You make sure that you stay focused on the prize, because if God is giving you a gift, you have to utilize those gifts. Don't worry about what anybody else says about you. People are always going to have an opinion, but their opinion is not God's opinion of who you are. Always remember that. So, as was, I'm going to start the story, okay? I didn't sit here and preach, and I'm just letting God guide me, because I don't want to take away from the message. And obviously, if I'm saying something, it's because somebody needed to hear that. So I'm glad that God allowed me to be a blessing to you. So, 2-3 years ago, I really had got tired of trying to do things my own way. I was at my wit's end. I tried everything that I could to try to fulfill this void that only God could fill. I literally was in tears on the cold, hard bathroom floor in fetal position. And I was really feeling devastated. I was feeling worn out. I was feeling exhausted. I was at my wit's end. I was at probably my Kairos moment, the pivot point, as therapists would like to call it. And I was really feeling like there was no hope. I was sad. I was in tears. I had tears running down my cheeks. I mean, streaming down, like ugly crying. It was so bad. And I was feeling like, oh my gosh, God, I don't know what to do in my life. I've tried it my way. I try to do things my way. I try to look for hope in everything but you. I really, I really had no idea what to do with my life. I felt like I felt like I had nothing left in me. I was empty inside. And I called on God. I said, God, help me. Save me. Because I can't save myself. And I felt something that I've never felt before. Like, I've always believed in God, but I never really gave effort to being in a relationship with God. I never read the Bible. I know the Bible had been in like the house, and I had a Bible forever because I bought one as soon as I started working this other job. Never opened it. I think the only time I opened the Bible was when I went to church every once in a while, and I would open it to whatever page the pastor would say. And I literally realized I never even had God in my relationship. I was thinking about trying to do everything. Anything you could think of that's like manifesting, or, and sorry, I'm not trying to get on people in whatever their belief is or anything like that, or trying to make you feel inadequate because of whatever's going on in your life. But I really was trying to feel like I could speak these things and make it so that our relationship was good. Like it was all on me. I had to find, I was looking up videos, like this is just me being transparent. I was looking up videos. I was going everywhere but to God. I mean, psychics, everything. I was doing everything that I possibly could but going to the creator to try to find a solution to help save my marriage. And looking back, I'm just like, oh, that's so crazy. It's crazy to think that you could be in a relationship with someone and not have God in the center of it. Because what do you do when things get hard? What do you do when, I mean, besides turning to a substance, besides turning to other people, places, or things that can't help you? The only person that's got the answer is God. A therapist might be able to give you direction, but God can help guide your footsteps. God can allow you to see things clearly. He can allow your heart to be opened so that that way you're open for whatever it is that he has for you. He can he can give you so much that the world will never be able to give you in your life. So I called out and asked God to help me. I said, God, help me. I literally felt like my hand was lifted up to heaven. Like I was really reaching up to God. And I was like, God, I need you. I can't do this on my own. I have tried everything, and everything that I tried did not work. Oof, I said I was going to cry. Everything that I've tried has not worked. What is it that you need me to do? And God said, get up. He said, get up. I never intended for you to go through any of this. Which made me cry even more because I was like, oh my gosh, like God has been hearing me this whole time. Like I would hear things, or like I would be praying and it'd be like, okay, something told me to do this, and the whole time it was the Holy Spirit, but I had no idea. The presence that I felt of God in this moment of weakness was unlike anything I ever felt in my entire life. Like it was the first time I truly heard God and knew it was God. It was the first time I truly felt comforted. I felt like his arms were wrapped all around me, giving me comfort in one of the weakest moments of my entire life. I felt like there was hope for the first time. I felt like there was faith like I had faith for the first time. I really felt like the emptiness that I was looking for was there the whole time. And I had no idea that God had it for me. I had no idea. I literally thought that I had to do this by myself. And I open up my phone and I'm like, God, give me instruction, give me direction. I pull up my phone, I'm looking, I'm like, God, what is it that you need for me to do? I need to know how to move forward in this moment because I have no idea. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. And I go and look up, and the first video that comes up on my phone, and I have to say this for those of you that are like, oh, that makes sense. Of course, a video would just pop up on your phone like that. No, no, no. I don't think you understand. I was not religious at all. Like I believe God existed, but I didn't have no relationship with God. The only time I prayed, I need to say this to be transparent. The only time I prayed is if I was like, God, please let me make it to this place on time. God, please let this test at the doctor's office come out negative so that I don't have abnormal cells anymore. So that the precancerous cells are gone. Like, God, please let this medical report come out good. God, please let this guy, be the one. My prayers were like that. It was not a real relationship with God. I did not pray to God and thanking Him for the things that He's already done for me. I don't think I ever said thank you to God, and unless it was something that happened extreme and I just assumed God was behind it. I didn't even go and try to check the thing by the fruit it bared. I literally was just like, oh, this gotta be God. I didn't even I had no relationship with God. I was sitting there looking up ratchet stuff online probably all day long. That's probably what my life was like. I was so busy trying to impress the world, I didn't even think about God. That's just me being real. I was so busy out here trying to fit in with people to get approval from people I never even needed. I was so busy trying to be something that I wasn't. When the whole time, every time I would do something that wasn't aligned with God, I would feel so filthy. Like I would feel disgusting and dirty and like gross. I would never feel contentment or peace about anything that I did in my life. I felt so hectic, so depressed, so empty. I had all these things that I was using trying to fill me up, and nothing would fill me up like God. I literally, I mean, my search history probably, if I looked at it today, I'd be like, I was looking up this stuff. Like, that don't even make no sense. And I wasn't a bad person, because I know people are probably saying, well, if you like being evil in the world, doing all this stuff, then of course your life is. But I always thought that I tried to be a kind person. I didn't try to go seek out to be mean to people, but I had a short temper. I really, I really was like irritated, angry about everything. And now I know the reason why, because of therapy and God. But I was angry about everything. And I had no peace in my life. I literally didn't like the person that I was. I really didn't. And as I go to open up this phone, the very first video that pops up is by Sarah Jakes Roberts' Girl Get Up. And it was so ironic, because God had told me to get up when I could feel His hand reach out and pull me up. Like, I had no strength left in my body. I don't think you understand. The only way to explain it is God. I literally felt so weak. There was nothing inside of me that was saying that I had the strength to get up or stand on my own feet. I felt like if if someone had touched me with a feather, I would have collapsed, because my body just felt exhausted. And the strength that I never even knew that I could get from God helped me stand up. Like, there's no other way to explain how I was able to get up out of that floor in fetal position crying. But God. And when I looked at this video, Girl Get Up, I felt strength enter me. I felt God all over the message. And you could have whatever beliefs you have about people, but I'm going to tell you something. When God is involved, when God has a message for you, no matter who He uses, He's going to get that message to you. No matter what you think about a person, it could be the person on the corner. It could be a person that you see in the store. It could be whatever it is. When you pray to God and ask Him for something, He will give you the answer. And it might not look like what you want it to. It might come from your worst enemy. It might come from that person who you had something against, or that family member you don't get along with. It may come from anywhere. So be open to hear from God, because whenever you're praying, He will answer your prayers. So that video comes up. It gives me the strength. Is like poured back into me. It's like I feel like it's filling me back up from the toes of my feet to the top of my head. I feel God all up and through me. I finally feel filled for the first time in my life, like all over me. And from that moment, I could hear God clearly telling me instruction after instruction. I could see video after video. I could see Tony Gaskins Jr. come up on my page, and it's going through all of the ways that I'm supposed to be treated as a woman of God. It goes through how I'm supposed to be having boundaries and standards, and how I should be treating myself and how I should be treating other people. It's showing me, video and courses. I took probably every course that TG Jr. had out there. at that time because I needed something to preoccupy my mind. And in that moment, I was